There are more than 8 billion people in the world. But have you ever stopped to think about what connects all of us? My name is Edgar, and this channel is where we explore ideas about people and the world we live in. I understand that most of you do not believe in God or that you are by a robot. If you believe that your ancestors were monkeys, then it's not like you think about magical evolution over a million years. These are simply the first examples of creating a reasonable person. In the Bible, this is written in the first book of Moses, namely in the book of Genesis. Genesis 1:27. And God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. He created male and female. But as we can all observe, he still has not completed something, or there are other reasons or intentions. I have many questions for him there, and I haven't figured it all out yet, but if you help me, we will find answers to all the questions together. I want to experiment. The experiment is to determine how many people actually live in your planet. I understand that you all believe that you are human. If this were true, then we would all live in heaven. But each of you can see what is happening on your planet. And all this is because there are no people on this planet. That is, all people, the vast majority, are just animals, stupid, brainless animals, by your robots, with basic firmware, and all sorts of harmful programs are loaded on top, and we can see the result. After the last update, about 6,000 years ago, humanity was not moved one step towards rational development. If you look at the news, in my opinion, we are going in the opposite direction and will soon turn into monkeys. I have a very rich experience in observation and personal communication with different sectors of society. I have lived in 7 foreign countries and also traveled a lot. I have also lived under different political systems. I have worked in many different professions. I served in the Soviet Army during the Soviet Union. When I returned from the army, the Soviet Union collapsed, and then I worked in the State Security Service in Latvia. In the mid-90s, I also worked as a bodyguard for some businessmen associated with crime. In my life, I have seen all walks of life. I mean, I have interacted with them personally, starting for drug users, various types of prisoners, racketeers, murderers, and gangsters, to millionaires, businessmen, princes, presidents, and priests, and so on. If you look at my life experience, I estimate that only about 10% of people are human. 20% are somewhere in between, some closer to humans, some closer to animals. It turns out that 70% of planet's population are animals, just stupid biorobots. As Einstein said, two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, but I'm not sure about the universe. In the world, people have always been very short-sighted and have always perceived everything new with distrust and fear. But over time, many things began to be accepted and recognized. But paradoxically, there are more and more idiots and animals, and, and it is almost impossible to meet reasonable people. The phenomenon of human stupidity. I've been searching for answers to various questions for most of my life, and if it's not too late, then this is definitely the last moment to try to explain what I've understood and what's going on there. As I already said, everything new at first glance seems incredible and impossible, but there is not a single person on the planet who would have at least some evidence that I was wrong. I cannot say that everything is exactly like this, but in general, my idea is possibly closest to the truth. Well, let's start with the fact that we are artificially created creatures or biorobots. I know it sounds incredible, especially if you are a Darwin fan. I believe that we evolved from apes. On the one hand, I completely agree with you. Looking at what has happening in recent years, there is no doubt humans are not capable of such things, unless your great 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 grandfather was a monkey. But as for me, I am a human being, and in my life I have met several other human beings or almost human beings with small signs of animal instinct that do not in any way have a negative impact of the environment. Then the questions logically arise. Where did monkeys, your ancestors, came from? And where did all the rest of the life and ecosystem came from? You don't need to be a professor or a doctor of science to understand that everything is too complex to have happened as a result of some mystical evolution stretching over millions of years. So, I am sure that your entire planetary system was created artificially. I also think there might be more than one. I must warn you right away that there will be a lot of unpleasant information here for most people. You need to understand one very important thing. You are all robots, programmed from birth with different programs. And here it doesn't matter what brand and model you are. Of course, there is a difference, but more on that later. First, you need to understand the basic principles, the basic functions, so to speak, about the variety of models and brands, which I will explain in the future. To give you at least a little interest and understanding of what I mean by this, I will give examples with cars and computer equipment, because in principle, everything is almost identical in general terms. As you all know, there are different brands of cars. I will not mention names, and so on. This will only cause unnecessary comments. Because everyone knows that there are better car brands, there are war brands, and there are completely low quality brands. It is also known that there are sport cars, and cars for everyday driving. There also are trucks. Some are larger, others are smaller. There are powerful and lower power ones, as the load capacity also varies between models. There, there are also a very primitive cars with a minimum set of necessary functions, and there is a so-called complete set which has everything possible that is currently available. The same applies to human biorobots. Some brands are initially primitive with a minimal set of functions. Some brands are better. I do not yet fully understand the thought or intention of the creator, but gradually, perhaps over time, we will be able to understand together this entire complex structure of the world. You need to understand one more important thing in case some gullible people follow all sorts of gurus and enlightened ones. No higher powers contacted me and did not transmit to me any secret information from the seventh dimensions or the fifth galaxy of stars. If you believe such scammers, then you need to urgently consult a doctor, or better yet, go straight to a psychiatric hospital. I am unlikely to be able to help you. All my observations are based on my personal life. I have worked in 7 different professions and lived in 9 countries under different political systems. So all information is based on real events and models of human relationships and behavior. I spent 35 years studying psychology, religions, history, and all sorts of esoteric teachings. And your avatar says a lot about who you are, so listen carefully. Considering that I've studied many different esoteric teachings and different types of psychology, all types of religions, including Kabbalah, and also popular movements or models of beliefs such as Buddhism, Osho, Freud, Jung, Carnegie, and various Eastern wisdoms. This is where most people start looking for answers. I also studied astrology and numerology. What I mean, I'm not a guru or a teacher who has any secret knowledge, but by putting together everything I know so far and adding to it my real life experience, I have developed a general understanding and opinion on this entire topic. The results are shocking. And for dessert, I need to add various kinds of experiments on myself for 21 years. I tried almost everything there was to try to find out how it affects brain function and health. I have some problems that I was born with, as that were programmed in early childhood. I wanted to check what can be cured or removed from various programs, whether they change perception or improve brain function. The results are also shocking. You will be interested to know what no one will tell you about on the internet. So this is the first intro video. Next I will explain how the matrix works and what awaits us in the near future and what is the only way to survive. Neither money, nor your name, nor your position, nor anything you imagine about yourself will help you. Each of you is personally responsible for yourself and everyone else as a whole. I will not have paid advertising on the channel. If you think you are human, want the future to be peaceful and abundant, you need to accept the challenge and have the courage to change yourself for the future. Think about your children and grandchildren. I have a real plan of action, but in order to publish it, I need to have a real weight on society, and only with your help is this possible. To have more intrigue and desire to help me, I will post the same videos on two channels. One will be on Russian, the other in English. If you speak Russian, support the Russian channel. If you speak English or any other language, support the English channel. But if you support English channel and are from a different nationality, it doesn't matter where you live. Start your comment with text, for example, I am Spanish by nationality, or change your avatar's name, such as Rodrigo Spanish, and one more mandatory thing that you need to understand. Your avatar should be a photo of you if you consider yourself a human. And if you really want to help me change the world, support the channel with £1 per month. There is a very little time left to change the matrix algorithm. We have all launched a self-destruction program. Give it a like, write a comment, and share my ID with your friends. Together we are strong. See you in next video. God is with us. Live honestly.